Good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. My name is Callie, and this is another weekend of clarinets, cats, and coffee. The tune I just played for you is study number 11, Guabina, from Mauricio Murcia Bedoya's collection of 18 studies in Colombian dance music written for clarinet. So this is the third year, or I just completed, 2021, oh wow, yeah. So we're going on 4 years now. I started this Saturday morning thing in 2020 when all the stuff happened with the pandemic and lockdowns and all of that. And I had so much fun doing it. I continue to do it. And it has evolved over time. I did a lot of play along stuff in the beginning, a lot of technique, a lot of working on fingers and tonguing legato and things. And then I started to explore more different public domain etude books and studies and things like that. Going forward, I am going to incorporate here and there repertoire for clarinet written by living composers. And I'd like to do this because, let's face it, there's a lot of great music out there that maybe we all need to know about that we don't yet. And so, here I am on YouTube. Here you guys are listening and watching, and so it's a great place, I think, to feature composers' music and try to get the word out about some new things. So the story about this, back in, I don't remember now, was it 2017? I don't know. You wouldn't know. Anyway, so number of years ago, I went to Clarinet Fest, and you know how at Clarinet Fest you go and they have all these like potpourri concerts happening and lectures and things happening throughout the day. So you look at the programs and you're like, oh, this is cool. I want to try this and this and this. Okay. So one of the things I saw in the program was this Colombian clarinetist performing and Bedoya. And I was like, ooh, that's cool. He's performing stuff that he wrote, and it's Colombian dance music. So of course I want to go and hear this because this sounds awesome. And I went, and I think he performed a couple of duets for clarinet and bass clarinet. And then the rest of the time he played some of these studies from his collection of 18 studies. And I just thought, well, number one, I thought he sounded so good, and I loved his musicality and his tone and his style is so beautiful. And I was like, oh man, I want to sound like that. And I went and I bought this immediately. So here we go. And I don't know if you can even find this in print anymore, but one thing that I would recommend is checking out the link below. I did find this particular one on Sheet Music Plus. So it's not the collection of 18, but it is just this one etude. It's only like $4, and it's a digital download. So I am not going to share this with patrons or channel members because this is not in public domain. But I highly recommend you guys go and buy this, help keep our composers composing and writing new music for clarinet repertoire. And I promise it'll be worth the $4 you spend on it. It's a very beautiful piece. So if you happen to be working on this, a couple of the challenges that we run into with this, at first glance, it looks pretty easy. Mostly everything stays below the break, and the rhythms are not too terribly difficult. You're doing mostly eighth notes, quarter notes. You have some dotted rhythms here and there, a little bit of syncopation here and there. And so this is really great for somebody who is just starting to develop more of their musical sense and their rhythmic sense. And it's a great way to kind of hone in on different rhythmic elements of one's playing, and without the stress of having to play up super high or anything like that, okay? So he has it marked at 100. I like to do it a little faster, maybe around 108 or 112. But of course, you can choose whatever tempo you think is appropriate. So you've got all these rhythmic elements that are really great for the intermediate player. The challenge with the technique in here really lies in playing with clean fingers. It's a lot of legato playing, a lot of slurring, and again, at first glance, it looks pretty easy, but once you get going, you realize like, oh yeah, maybe these fingers don't lift at the same time, and this finger doesn't press at the same time as this one, and you can kind of hear, the points where you need to improve. Now, I would recommend doing this in a way, go phrase by phrase, so you kind of start to get the melody in your ear. And imagine playing a long tone. So for the very first phrase that you have here, let's see, it starts on a low G, and you could even just hold out a G and just think about what's going on in your body and your air column and your embouchure. Okay, so I'm trying to think about having a beautiful sound from start to finish of my breath. And if you really want to play a true legato, you just got to keep your wind blowing between the notes. Don't let the clarinet boss you around. So notes on the clarinet, some are more stuffy, some are less stuffy. You want to get a feel for how the phrase goes. So first try just one complete breath of air. Don't change anything for each note. No, I didn't tongue any of those middle parts. Okay, so that was just one straight smooth breath of air. Now I'm going to add a little bit of dynamic shaping so that the whole phrase sounds nice and elegant. And I'm going to try not to contort my body too much whenever I'm playing this legato passage. So here we go. And so in doing that, I can play a very true legato and also play more expressively as well. So be careful not to let the clarinet boss you around. All right, so clean fingers, legato air, and the rhythm. Those are the three big things in here. And on top of that, when you're working phrase by phrase, you want to get this in your ear. You want to get this in your ear and your heart, your soul. You want to make this sound so beautiful, locked into the rhythm the whole time. And I'm going to have to stop here because I'm losing my voice. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy working on this. Let me know if you've learned this before, if you own it already, or if you went out and bought it. So have a wonderful weekend. Have a good week next week. And as always, happy practicing.